All right, welcome back. It is time for To The Point, and our conversation tonight is about adoption. Our guests are already in studio tonight. Just right next to me on my left, we have Charity Mumbi Ndiritu, who is a counseling psychologist. Right next to her is Helen Wanjugu Maina. Helen is an adoptive mom. And we have Caroline Karuithe, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Karibuni sana, ladies, for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Now, the question of the day, ladies, is to adopt or not. Your views on that briefly before we get right into it. Charity.
Thank you so much. I think to me, to adopt is good.
Mm-hmm. To adopt is good?
Yeah.
Helen, as an adoptive mom, how is your experience to adopt or not? Would you do it again given the chance?
I will do it as much as I'm also guided by the verse in the Bible that in Psalms 127, that children are gifts from God. Given another chance, I will do it.
All right. Karitha, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, to adopt or not? That is our question of the day.
Yes, I believe adoption is a very, very noble cause. Mm-hmm. So yes, I would encourage adoption because also not only does it help the adopter, it also helps the child who needs love and care and protection. And also it helps the society because you have so many children out there who are in need of a home and a parent. So yes.
All right, now as always, we dive into what really is adoption for the benefit of our viewer. And the National Council for Adoption describes this as a legal process that establishes a permanent parent-child relationship between a child and individuals who are not the child's biological parents. Now, for someone, Charity, who does not really understand this from the get-go, in the psychological perspective, how would you describe this process to them?
For those that maybe have not been able to adopt and maybe they are willing to do that, it's good that they may go to the legal process that is supposed to, because you cannot adopt a child without the legal process, which is very, very important, so that now you may be given the right, you go the right channel to make sure that now you be given the legal right to own and continue with the child. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Helen, what are the untold stories about adoption that we do not know for those parents who are considering doing it but are 50-50 about it?
I think one is that idea that the perception that the people has, if you adopt a child, there's that chance of maybe in future or as she grows up, there will be that rejection or that thing of not really accepting you as a parent. But at the moment, I can say it's those untold stories. It is not real thing that happens when you adopt a child. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, Helen, how does adoption differ from other forms of guardianship, looking at it from a legal perspective?
You mean, Carol? Yes?
Yes.
So adoption differs from other forms of parenting, and especially maybe we distinguish it from being a foster parent or maybe a legal guardian. So adoption means as a biological parent of the child, you're actually giving up the rights, the parental rights and responsibilities permanently to another person who is not, of course, automatically to become the legal parents of that child. So you as the biological parent, what you need to know is that you lose that parental rights and obligation like permanently. It is irreversible. Yes.
But now for a biological parent who is still alive to reach that level where they want to give up this child for adoption, how do they get to that point, Carol?
Well, for a parent, unless, of course, we have three types of children who can be given up for adoption, or who are maybe children who have how would I put it? Let's say that a child who is supposed to be a child available for adoption, one can be an orphan or a child who has been abandoned by their biological parents. But then also, some parents give up their children for adoption willingly. So this parent who is willing to give up a child for adoption, I want to believe is a parent who is maybe has felt that they have no financial means to take care of that child. Also, it comes to situations where maybe that child, somebody had a difficult pregnancy, all these things that happen during pregnancy, or somebody postpartum experiences that you're not able to deal with. So there are so many things that go into making that decision as a biological parent of a child to be willing to give up that child.
All right.
I don't believe it's not an easy decision. Yes.
All right, now that point actually takes us to our next point, which is the types of adoption processes that we have in the country. And number one is domestic adoption, which is now the Kenyan residents adopt a child within Kenya. We have international adoption, we have foster to adopt, that is fostering. We have step-parent adoption and relative adoption. Of course, I know there's more, which you will expand, of course, Karitha. But I'm interested about hearing Helen's type of adoption. Which is yours?
Domestic.
Domestic. So how did you get to this point where you say, I want to adopt now, Helen?
It's a long story, though I'll try to shorten it. Here comes I had a granny, calls her, she's like, maybe she takes long to come, then now the child, the girl, would start like crying and she could just go. There was a concern with my kids. They could come in the evening, they could call me in my bedroom, they could whisper, Mom, there was a girl who had come at the gate calling, Shosh, they used to call that lady, that nanny, Shosh, and she didn't go to respond to her. So I could ask the granny, who is this girl? She could just brush it off. Like, no, just keep it off. They don't know what they are saying. Now it happened on one of the weekends. She came to call the granny as usual at the gate. Then my niece came running at my house that there's a girl who is calling Shosh. I told her, just tell her. Shosh has said she come in. Now that is how the girl came into my house. Now she came, there was the way I looked at the girl, I felt like there's that conviction, this girl needs to be assisted. I felt that conviction. So she was given the breakfast, and that particular day, my daughter was to go to a salon to be plated, then they go to up country. So I felt convinced. She accompanied my daughter, they go both of them to get the hair plaited, then they accompany the granny, then they go to up country. It was a long holiday, so they stayed there, the up country with the granny. Now here comes, the schools are being opened. We had formed a relationship. This girl, I saw a girl who wants a mom, who wants a dad, who wants a family, who wants that warmth of a family. So I was convinced through that thing of the school are opening, how will I separate myself, my kids with this child?
Now, did you follow the legal processes, Helen, to get this child as your own?
It is not like long before we are in the process.
All right.
It has not yet completed.
All right, let me get Charity's point of view. Now, from these types of adoption processes that we have, domestic, international, foster, step-parent, relative adoption, how do they differ in terms of the effect that they have in the child's and parents' mental health?
Yeah, on the issue of a child being adopted, like without what Mr. is talking about here, there are some challenges that comes as a result of that. maybe, for example, from where the child is coming from. Is he coming, maybe what are some of the experiences that he might have been having around where she was from, the historical background. So there is so much about the mental health that need to be addressed, because some of the children have got issues of trauma. Some of the children have got issues of loss and grief from where they are coming from. And also even coming maybe from one type of the family to another, and how things are done, even in the family. It can also bring a lot of issues on the mental health, whereby should be addressed in the right way.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Caroline, which one do you come across more often in the line of duty, these types of adoption?
Sorry?
For these types of adoption that we've mentioned right here, which one do you come across more often?
Adoption.
Domestic, international,
sorry.
foster, step-parent, relative?
Yes, it's domestic and kinship. Mostly at the moment, considering that in the country we have a moratorium that is, since 2014, blocked intercountry adoption, or what we would call foreign adoptions. So mostly it's kinship and, of course, local adoption. Yes.
Now, there's a clip, a story that played right there, and some of those views, the challenges that they're saying that might come up include inheritance. So how are you planning to navigate that, Helen, in case it occurs?
In terms of inheritance, I believe, when we started this journey, we took her like our own. So if it is in terms of inheritance, we don't like separate like you and you, or maybe you will be taking maybe the lesser thing than this one. What we've done, or we will do maybe in the future, we will give them equal rights, or equal rights in terms of inheritance, because we took her as our child, and we wouldn't like, we will create, along this journey, we will have something that will create a difference, that where even if she knows we are not the biological parents, we wouldn't like her to feel like a lesser child in our family. So for us, we will treat her like the other children. We have other 3, so we are 4. So we will treat her like the other children.
All right. Caroline, is there a law that protects the adopted children when it comes to the topic of inheritance?
Yes, and I'm saying this so proudly because previously adopted children came second to the biological children, because the only law that we used to apply was the Succession Act, which then would allow children that have been taken in by the deceased parent, the children that they have considered as their own. But then when it comes to the Children Act 2022, it speaks expressly of the rights of an adopted child, and an adopted child is the same as your biological child. They are equal. So in case of inheritance, they get equally. There's no first and second. They are equal. Yes.
All right. Charity, of course, at one point, this topic of where's the way to, you do not belong here, might emerge where children are involved. Now, how do they navigate such a situation so that this child's mental health, this adoptive child, is not messed with?
Yeah, thank you so much. There's something that we advocate as counselors, psychologists, because it is very, very important to address the issues of mental health, because most of the time when children have gone to new places, because the mind of human being, most of the time they have issues to adapt to new things. So in the process, you must address the issue of, it is good, number one, to disclose the issue of that if the child is of age, whereby if the child is of age, number one, it's good as the adopter, the person who is adopting the child should explain how you came into our family. It is very, very important, first of all, to disclose. And also on the issues of addressing the issues of mental health. It's also, we advocate you go and take that client or that small boy or that small girl to a counselor. Their child counseling, which can help that child to be able to know some of the things that need to be addressed. Maybe the issue of anxiety. If the child is having a lot of anxiety, it can only be handled by a specialist, a professional on issues of counseling psychology, whereby the person should be, that thing should be addressed, and the child is get the help that he needs. If the issues of trauma that the child is having, or is undergoing some losses, maybe loss of a loved one, because many they go to that highway because they have lost their parents, or something like that, that also should be addressed, and should be addressed in the right way. Not everyone that you can say, go and ask questions and maybe ask help. But if it is done professionally, it can be very good. So that that child may feel that the mind changes. Now I belong to this place, I belong to these parents, they are going to take care of me, because we calm down the anxiety and all the issues that pertains to mental health. I think that one is very important.
Awesome. Now, for the interest of time, I want us to maybe start with you, Caroline. Is this only the mom's decision? Because, you know, when I was telling the people on social media that this is the conversation you're having tonight, and our panel, of course, is an all-lady panel. So is this decision only made by the mom, or how does now the husband or the partner chip in, Caroline?
Legally speaking, no, it's not a mom's decision, because when you look at the persons who can adopt a child, there can be a sole applicant, and that can be either male or female, and there can be joint applicants, in which case it's married couples. So when it's a sole decision, then of course it will depend. If it's a lady, of course that will be a sole decision. If it's a gentleman, it will be their sole decision. Of course there are restrictions when it comes to male adoptions, but when it is a joint application, then both of them have to make a decision, because they are both equally responsible for the child they adopt. Yes.
All right, Helen, something for the mom now as we wind up, who is considering adoption, but bado wako 50-50. Tell them something.
They should not fear adoption. They should not listen to people. Whatever you give to that child, that's what will come back to you. So if you are a mom there, you want to adopt, or a father, you want to adopt, this is the right way. Give the love to that child, or their children, if you are able to adopt one or more, and that love will come back to you. Yeah, it is very interesting to adopt a child. Yes, thank you.
Charity, in 1 minute as we wind up.
Yeah.
Anything for the moms, the dads out there who are still not sure if they should adopt or not?
To me, I can say it is good to adopt, as I stood from the word go. But it's also very important to address their mental health, because we need them to be fully enjoying the places that they have gone, because there are so many reasons that now we have seen that made people adopt children. So when that one is addressed, and the children are going to feel that they're at home, they are going to calm down the anxiety, they are going to feel like now they have not lost, because now already the mental issue is addressed, things does get right. I think that one is very, very important. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies, for making time for To The Point.
Yeah.
This conversation is very interesting to me, if you ask me. So what I'm getting from this is mental health is also quite important, and go for it if you are moved to adopt. That is Charity Mombi, a counseling psychologist. We have Helen Wanjugu, a mother, and Caroline Karitha, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. That's it. Thank you so much for keeping it TV47. Do keep it TV47. We wind up at this point. My name is Anne Odida, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Calvin Makori. You have yourself a good night, and see you next time.